The Pressures and Forces Acting on Scuba Divers by Group 23. Kyle Mossop, Along Peleg, Robert Swartz, Otis Williams. How deep have we gone? We would never know the answer to this question if one man didn't take a risk in 2014. Ahmed Gabr broke the Guinness World Record for deepest scuba dive, reaching a depth of 332.35 meters in only 12 minutes. To avoid decompression sickness, also known as the bends, it took him roughly 15 hours to return to the surface. Calculating the pressures felt at depth. Using the manometer equation, which is pressure equals height times density times gravity, we can calculate the max pressure Ahmed felt. So, P equals 332.35 meters times 1,030 kilograms per meter cubed times 9.81 meters per second. That gives you Ahmed's experienced pressure at 3,358.1 kilopascals. Scuba divers estimate that every 10 meters down is equal to 1 atmosphere, so Ahmed experienced 33.235 atmospheres. When you convert those atmospheres into kilopascals, you end up seeing that would mean, with their estimate, that Ahmed would have experienced 3,367.54 kilopascals. Now, however, that only being an estimate shows that our calculation, which is the correct way to go about it, is only off by a deviation of 0.28%, meaning that it's actually a very accurate estimation. Forces on a person at depth. When discussing pressure, one must also discuss the forces acting on a scuba diver. Forces of pressure over an area. Naturally, a person's body area doesn't change much. It can be assumed that as pressure increases, so does force. With this in mind, we can calculate the force acting on Ahmed at his maximum depth. We calculated it to be roughly 6,380.5 kilonewtons, which is around 33 times greater than the average force felt on the surface. Another force we can discuss is buoyant force. Buoyancy forces. When looking at buoyancy forces, the weight of an object plus fluid surrounding that object exert a downward force. Fluid below also exerts a force in the opposite direction. However, if you and your equipment weigh more than the water displaced, then you will sink. If you and your equipment weigh the same as the water displaced, then you will stay at the current depth you are at. Here is a list of information used to make this presentation.